evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, and welcome to the pod edition of the Spring Tournament 2021. My name is Jat. I'm joined here in the booth by Dr. Rosalia. Dr. Rosalia, how are you doing tonight?
Hello, I'm doing alright, thank you.
And we have some exciting pod action between two players. So, PapaFoiz trying to lock up the 3-0 in this pod. shoombabi, though, only one race in, and it started with a loss, so needs 2 more wins in order to punch his ticket into pods for sure. So, Doc, you want to introduce us to these two runners? You got some information about them?
Can do. On the left here, we have shoombabi, whose previous race experience is the Winter 2021 Duckling Derby. His interesting fact is that the word Escalade did not exist until the word escalator.
Pretty good fact.
And then he puts, did you mean interesting facts about myself? I'll stick with what I think I mentioned last time. At the round this year, I had placed 3rd in a community-driven, nationwide Dance Dance Revolution tournament.
Yeah, it turns out lots of the members of our community are very skilled in multiple games. And what about on the right, Papa?
On the right, we have PapaFoiz. His interesting fact is that he is a duckling, and his racist experience I can personally relate to because he says here that he has lost in the first round every time.
Well, so far, certainly not the case. And also, yeah, as our tracker tonight, Rafe hates Caleb, or Caleb says in chat, Papa's a duckling by the loosest definition. A duckling is what we call our new player program. And if you're ever interested, please feel free to check us out in our Discord. And here we go, off to the races. So, you know, you're a relatively new player to the community as well. Looking at this white magic, any spells, like, standing out to you?
The Heal 3 has certainly got my attention so far.
And what about the black magic?
I wouldn't say anything interesting in the terms of the black magic. I'd probably go for a Litter Ice if I was desperate or I didn't feel like it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those spells will get you through the early game, as well as, you know, the Blurst weapon. But Zap, a Time Elemental Insta-Death AoE that can basically hit everything in the game except for Chaos. Gonna be a good early game tool. And Lock 2, so you played a ton of Vanilla, one of your favorite games growing up.
Yeah, it was.
Lock is fixed in the Randomizer, so actually has some endgame utility against really, really high evasion bosses like Chaos.
Oh, interesting. So we're coming up on Garland.
Yeah, there we go. The Zap coming out. Zap, relatively high accuracy actually by insta-death standards. Going to have a really high effectiveness against Garland. And a little bit different strategy here from shoombabi versus Papa. Excuse me, Papa deciding to open the boxes and not really finding anything too good. Meanwhile, shoombabi straight to Garland should have enough money to pick up some spells and provoke him from that. I love the face cams. shoombabi's just the absolute, like, you know, just pure focus, just staring right at the screen, unblinking. Trying to figure out the encounter table here. Looks like there's at least one encounter right off the hard reset.
Papa's finally going in for Garland, and he's going to hit them with the Zap. And he's done with that. And Shoom on the other side going over to Montoya. Looks like he's checking the chest in there, and then quickly resetting.
Yeah, so that's kind of an alternative way to make some money by going with the Montoya shop check instead, but just no money anywhere, really. So be it. shoombabi, though, you know, playing with those alternative strides, and I've seen you hanging out a little bit in the the creative channel, which is another part of our Discord, and contributing there. But shoombabi luckily has named all his characters, so you can see it's a fighter rainbow, fighter red, white, black mage, compared to PapaFoiz, who's running a black belt Oreo, as we call it. So black belt, 2 black mages, and a white mage. So, you know, definitely different party comps here, and we're gonna have to see which one pays off.
Yeah, I would personally, in my own opinion, I would go with the one shoombabi is going with right now.
Mhm.
But it will be interesting to see how Papa goes on.
Yeah, we've been finding in the pod rounds that the black belt comps have had a small advantage, but it's really sword dependent. The fighter comps can put up incredibly good times, but they really need to find a sword, and if there's no swords in the early game, that can be a major concern. Looking through the level 2 magic, once again, not too bad. We got some decent stuff here. So Fire 3, of course, going to be a key early game sweeper, and then Life and Exit. Life, always important, but Exit gonna open up, early earth or early marsh cave dives as well as early ice cave dives if the runners want to do so.
And Bikey has ship. It's a
Well, that ship's not going to be useful for all that long.
yeah, considering that he doesn't really have the canal right now.
No, that ship, we are going to need to find some money. The interesting thing here is that both shoombabi and Papa opened up the Matoya chest, and there was no money there, so they're going to have to find that 12k somewhere else, but that's going to be a key, that's going to be of utmost importance to start off this early game, as the floater just speeds everything up immensely. So Buckeye not in chat saying a pop grind. So what's your opinion? In the vanilla game, did you do pop grinds, and what's your opinion on the Peninsula of Power grind?
By the time that I realized that pop grinds was a thing, I was too powerful to utilize it. Unfortunately.
Yeah. While the pop grind is a good tool in vanilla, with the early canoe here, we actually have access to the Crescent Lake area, and also the Volcano Armory, like shoombabi is showing us here, and I think the pop grind, while the levels are nice, will just be slower than just opening a few boxes here and also checking the traps, because we do have either A or B side tiles on here. And if we find a good grind, that could be a good way to get fights even faster, get some levels, and get some money. Never mind the fact we could just open up a box and there could be, 65k gold in there. Ooh.
Lord of the Synth in chat asks if how much our houses have we seen any. I believe we just got a hint. We just saw some houses and they were 1,813 gold.
Yeah, so not super cheap. But you know what? Papa had felt the chat through the 10-minute time delay and is going straight to that pop grind. But shoombabi using Zap to good effect here. Getting some key levels. Now, the red mage went down, which is a little bit unfortunate, as I believe the white mage is probably who I would kill off in this particular party. It's just not that necessary, but ooh boy, those Hydras giving some good EXP, and also already up to about 10k gold. Ooh, opal armor can be sold, or equipped. Okay, shoombabi heading back into Provoka, I think, but maybe this is on the way to pop, so that way he can pop on the way to Provoka. I just don't know if he has enough money. It depends on how much that opal armor sells for. He can also sell the light axes and things as well. Yes, good point. Not worth a ton. I have a feeling this is going to be a little tight, because I think usually the opal armor is about 20,000. And that means it would only be 10 to 15. Oh, floater's only 12k. Never mind. Come on, go sell that opal armor. Go sell that opal armor. No, it's just opal -3.
It's not worth it. Times are hard.
Are we gonna go pop now? So Papa doing the straight pop grind. definitely a play that will get you the money. And looks like shoombabi's going there as well, so all you vanilla fans get...
We're hanging out in the pencil of power.
Now, it should be noted that the early encounter off the power cycle is really good for the pop grind, so... Ooh, Tyros are not really good for the pop grind, though. With Zap. Tyros have very high magic defense, so Zap is not going to be very effective against them. Oof.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think the... trying to get to those Frost Wolves would be way better, for example. But I guess we have to use the house up here. Oh, and we're going back. shoombabi had a good plan going to Armory and all that. It just unfortunately this little detour has taken a little bit of the time, but it will work. I mean, Papa's still on the pop grind anyways, so
yeah.
really
Even with the accidental Tyranno, he's still doing alright.
So once we get the floater, you know, we have a lot of options available. Oh, come on, sell your opal armor. Just sell your opal armor.
Come on, just sell it.
Our tracker, Caleb, saying the first thing we do is promote. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that would definitely be one of my first things if I had the ability to. And seeing as they have seeing as they already have the tail already, as soon as I got the floater, I would go to the desert and get my airship so I can promote as fast as possible.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for shoombabi's party, that seems like a no-brainer. Maybe a quick stopover to go talk to our old man, as we don't need to kill the vampire in order to go talk to... Oh, I'm blanking on his name. The person to the west of Titan's Trove. And the other options, I think, you know, we could go dive... Sarda, thank you, Caleb. Sarda. We can go talk to Sarda, and then I think immediately promotion makes a lot of sense. But on the other hand, Papa, promoting right away, not the immediate play, because the black belt gains less magic defense per level once it promotes to the master. So Papa may want to delay his promotion for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it would seem like that would be more. It would be more. What is the word I'm looking for? It's not as big as a priority as it would be for Shoom right now.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see what his plan is. It looks like... Okay, so first we're going to go talk to the sages, because actually he's been in the river system a little bit, but has not gone to the sages. Yeah, Wolf and Josh saying the pop grind not working so well. I'm not a big fan of the pop grind with the free canoe in general, but I do see the logic here, and it makes, you know, it's definitely a play that... Papa getting through it, we'll have that money soon. shoombabi picking up the adamant, and then we'll see where he goes next. Probably to Sarda, and then maybe to turn in the adamant, and then I think promotion does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it would definitely.
Oh, using the Aelmarkin School of Airship Management technique. And Papa's got enough money, it looks like, or he's run out of spell charges. Either way, we're leaving the pop grind.
He had a bit of a rough grind.
Okay, and I think these are pretty easy turn-ins. We have the crystal and the adamant, which should just turn us into two quick items. The adamant especially nice because we don't have to go that deep into the dwarf armory in order to check it out. Exit, of course, making it not nearly as much of a time commitment as it is without it. But the ruby, unfortunately, a complete dud.
The ruby is completely useless at this point since we have the airship.
Yep. I guess 4 chests for shoombabi if he wants it, but I'd be shocked to see him prioritize that.
It just looks nice.
Yeah, it does look nice, that's true. Papa, though, right back to the pop grind.
Oh, we got the power.
Yeah, the Power Gauntlet, really nice pickup. Really, really good for the fighter comp, actually. The fighter comp wants to be opening all of the boxes in Sky, all of the boxes in Sea. There to be a loot and, a loot and, I don't know, Rod on, like, Sky 3 and last chest in Mermaids. That's kind of ideal for the fighter comp. So always happy to pick up the Power Bonk here so he doesn't have to pick it up at a later point when he has to go out of his way. So shoombabi will be happy to see that Power Bonk. PapaFoiz will not be nearly so happy to see it. Now, one thing we should note is that Papa's not only getting money, he's also is getting levels here. So this is a good, he is getting his early game levels, which are always something that's good to pick up early. And, there's a saying in Final Fantasy Randomizer, early levels are worth more than late levels. And that's just because the additional safety it provides you, the additional cast and exit, all that jazz, can make a difference throughout the whole seed, versus if you only get them at the very end, you don't get to take advantage of that. So good, really nice pickup there for PapaFoiz, even though it does mean
Yes,
that he'll be in
absolutely.
the air just a little bit later.
Oh, we got the pro. Shoom got the pro wing +3.
And it looks like he is going to decide to walk that out of there. I think that's a reasonable decision. The pro ranks will always be for sale, but picking one up for free is always nice. And we're doing a full Cardia check here. Oh, pays off.
Oh.
Well, that is a ribbon that Papa is almost certainly not going to be getting. Ninja asking in chat, what was it? It was a ribbon +4. Now, ribbons providing resistances to all elements. Absolutely fantastic. Never mind the fact this is a ribbon that gives us 5 absorb. 5 whole absorb. It's like the best ribbon ever.
Yeah, it's like almost necessary for this run.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, a ribbon -5 is still one of the best things you can find in a box. Ribbon +4 is just gravy.
Yeah, it's a 4-pack of ribbons. You just can only put them on one person at a time. Also, Shroom going in for that promotion.
Yeah, so not surprising at all here to get that early promotion for the fighter comp. Just opens up a lot of options. Oh, he did remember the Opal Armor. He just really didn't want to sell it. Going to be equipping the Power Bonk. And also, the interesting thing here, one thing to keep in mind with the fighter is that it's going to be able to pick up that life at level 2, because the fighter does get that magic. So once it hits level 15, it's going to get its first life charge, which is pretty important. Okay, what's the next play? Yep, this makes sense, checking level 3 magic. Now what
Makes sense.
What I really want to see shoombabi not do is dive marsh or ice, and the reason for that is because there's a 50% chance, so the canal is guaranteed to be in the inner sea, which means the canal will be either in marsh or ice, or be an item that is led to from marsh or ice. So going elsewhere first and then coming back there later is probably going to work out better for shoombabi. So maybe an Ordeals play here, or yeah, probably an Ordeals play here makes the most sense.
Absolutely would.
So are you familiar with the blurst weapons, the pluses and minuses on the weapons, Doctor?
Yes, I am. Absolutely.
So Wolfen has a question in chat. The pluses and minus affect both evade and defense. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yep. So yeah,
I think.
Yeah, so for armor, the pluses and minus affect both evade and defense, and the effect on absorb, or defense, or absorb as it's called in this game, but defense in most games, is actually double for chest pieces as well. So that opal armor actually has -6 to its absorb, which is kind of unfortunate. It's not, the end of the world, but it does make, what would normally be some of the best armor in the game just slightly worse. So shoombabi does decide to make the Marsh play, and so far pro-ring for his trouble. Now, Marsh is pretty decent. One of the good things about Marsh is that with exit, it's relatively quick, so can't complain too much about that. But as I said, there's a high chance this just contains the canal, which he knows when he hits that there. Now, the good thing for shoombabi with that canal is that that does increase the probability of, like, now he knows that ice has an item that he probably cares about. The only item it could have that wouldn't be strictly required is the white shirt. So, but deciding to do ordeals next. Now, what do you think about going to ordeals without warp, Doctor?
It's a bit risky, but you could?
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah. We've already checked levels 1 through 4 magic and level 6 and no warp is available, so unless warp is like exactly at level 5, this is probably the play that he has to make anyways. Papa making an interesting play into Volcano. Probably just checking for grinds and a little bit of cash. Okay. Ooh.
Got a little bit of cash now.
Yeah, and also shoombabi just with like the immediate ordeals, like just like the perfect ordeals for no warp. Must be very happy with that. Papa unfortunately doesn't really have the best spells to deal with this Mudgall Sorcerer's pack, but definitely can kill it out eventually. The big problem is not the Sorcerers, the big problem is the Mudgall. It's just like nothing works that well on it, but Zap will do the trick. Running from Perilous, because I guess we don't have ice to deal with them, so...
Yeah, that's probably for the better to run from them.
Yeah. I love Perilous normally, but you're right. Fire 3, not what you want to be casting against Firebirds. We will see what random chest has our incentive. Lots of money. Let's kill those Medusas with Fire 3. Yep. And Papa...
Shoom is getting his insurance check from that marsh cave.
Absolutely. Ooh, and a decent chunk of mummies and whiz mummies. Now, the whiz mummies are worth a lot of the EXP in this fight, so you kind of want to see more than one, but it is what it is, and there is a decent chunk of mummies, and Fire 3 and Light Axes are the perfect weapons to take this down, so, you know, you gotta take the EXP as you see it, especially with that 4-man fighter.
It just is what it is. And luckily with Fire 3.
So when you were playing vanilla, did you like running like full 4-person comps, or did you like killing some of your characters off?
I mainly tried to do 4-person comp at all times, which is kind of making me suffer now now that I'm running this, but I'm getting used to it.
For sure. And so, you know, taking a look at where our magic is, I think that the fighter comp actually may want to cut down on the number of characters. I feel like the white mage is a little bit superfluous. They may be able to go down to a 3-person fighter red-black, or maybe just even fighter red mage. The black belt comp, I think, likely to keep up all 4 party members until, or maybe kill off a black mage, or the white mage for that matter, but probably a black mage because you kind of want the exit. Likely to keep up a lot of party members until it's time to do the grind. With that super early encounter off the power cycle, I'd be very, very tempted to go check the desert for that black belt. And it looks like shoombabi finding a T-Rex already.
Yeah, me too. I'd probably, at this point, I'd try to get rid of the black mage.
Yeah, the black mage I think is a viable choice. Unfortunately, we just need Fade. That's the one thing that the white mages are really missing. They have everything, a lot of other good stuff, but...
Wolf and Josh asks in the chat, chances of solo BB grind?
I would say somewhere between 95 and 100% for Papa's comp. When though, and on what? Very unknown at this point.
Yeah, that's the question right here, because don't the BBs need like levels in order to really shine?
Yeah, I think for general purpose black belt clearing, you want to be like, you know, in the above 21, and then after for like end game, you want to be somewhere between 32 and 42, depending on how comfortable you are with all your spells and your gear. So far, no temper, no fast. Fast being the key one. We do have lock though, so a 32 black belt may be viable depending on how ahead or behind Papa finds himself, and also dependent on if he likes kind of what's the word I'm looking for? How much he likes his grind. So if he really likes his grind, he can go higher. If he thinks the grind is awful, he might go lower and open a few more boxes for gear, for example.
Bobby just made a small trip to Provoca to get life and exit.
Makes lots of sense. I really like that play. Actually, it's a good preemptive play to get life on the knight. You never know if something's going to go wrong, and having that extra life caster can be huge. Sometimes that's the difference between winning or losing, because you can, you know, wipe on a tile or wipe somewhere, and all of a sudden you just have a knight left, and if it has life, that can be life-saving. Papa, though, unfortunately gonna also waste some time in Marsh. Not that he 100% knew that, but that was a 50-50, and unfortunately for him, the 50-50 did not pay off. So where's Papa gonna go next?
Now, shoombabi, after taking that quick stop, he is going to clear out the ice cavern, which, now that he has exit, is actually a smarter move.
Yeah, for sure, I agree. Interestingly, he didn't turn in the herb, so we still are trying to figure out. I was just quickly checking Caleb's notes. We still don't have, you know, knowledge of exactly what the herb turns into. Oh, he did. I checked them again. Never mind. The herb turned into the oxyale, so we have a couple. You know, the sea incentive now available. A lot of opportunity to go to waterfall as well. But right now we're seeing dueling ice cave dies. 4 waters. Not really what you're looking for with no ice magic.
And as you say that, his black mage did just go down, so yeah, not...
Yeah, is deciding to bring him back up though.
And yes, DH Storm, yes, we are calling him Papa.
Oh yeah. Permanently a duckling Papa. He loves to come in and joke with us. Really nice guy. I've done a few races with him and shoombabi. I've worked with quite a bit during the Duck Derby and working on him speeding up. He was a little disappointed with his first loss, so he's been practicing pretty hard, so hoping to put on a good showing here against the pretty veteran Duck Papa, who's currently 2-0. Ooh. Speaking of, you know, your whole party going down and needing extra life casters, this not being so nice, but looks like those item magic really coming in handy with the Thor Hammer and the Lightning Axe doing solid work.
Those wraiths took him down a bit, but it looks like he's going to be able to get back up a little bit.
We'll have to see if Papa gets similar problems. Papa's party is a little bit better at running, but ambushing never nice. Something to keep in mind with the Rainbow comp is it's really not the best at running at early levels. The only character in that party who's decent at running is the Black Mage. So, a little bit problematic, versus Papa has 2 Black Mages, which runs at approximately the same rate as a Thief. So if you're ever looking to improve your party's chance of running, running 2 Black Mages or running a Thief will help a lot. shoombabi, though, finding the incentive TNT but deciding to carry on. This is not it's a little risky, but really shows that he's trying to find a weapon, which is absolutely important, like critical for that fighter. He's already got decent armor, he's already got a ribbon, he just really needs a weapon.
It's not the strategy what I would personally go for it, which I would just leave, but I can see it working out in the long run.
Yeah, I like that he checked 5 boxes that were all pretty densely packed there and then didn't even check the tile. I mean, of course, for his sake, it's probably it's probably the Masas in the one chest that he didn't open, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, you know. Here we go though. TNT turn-in coming up. shoombabi with a pretty decent exploration lane. Basically, he's done a full extra ordeals over Papa, but Papa
and he got the loot.
Yeah. Oh, good pickup. Where are we going next? I feel like the only real incentive play at this point is waterfall into sea. Do you want to take Ninja's question, Doctor? So Ninja's asking, is that a required ice cave?
Since it has the loot, I would say it is, I think.
Oh yeah, 100%. That TNT leading to the loot, we need that to go into the Temple of Fiends. Well, actually, to get past the loot plate. What's it active?
You just gotta bash the plate in with the loot.
Yeah, it's not that you play beautiful music and some Zelda-like stuff happens. No. You take the loot, you smash it against it, and it works like a crowbar. That's how you lift the plate up.
Surprisingly, nothing else works but the loot.
Funny how that works. These warriors of light with, super powerful swords and all that jazz, not nearly strong enough. But yeah, Papa making the very logical play to ordeals, and shoombabi has to be going to waterfall. I can't see another play that's even, available.
Oh, he's picking up the bottle. Or wait, no. No,
Well,
he's picking up a house.
Where the vanilla bottle would be, 100%. For people just tuning in, the vendor item was in Provoca. It was the floater for about 12k. Yeah, so shoombabi making the play to waterfall. Perfectly logical. Once again, of the 3 incentive locations left, which is Sea Shrine, Waterfall, and Sky Palace, there's a white shirt, which will not be required, but then there's also the key, the chime, and the cube, which will all be required. So, you have to clear at least 2 of them, and you're likely to have to clear all 3 if the white shirt ends up being behind the key. A little unfortunate for shoombabi that he can't take these fights, but as previously mentioned, just doesn't really have any good tools doesn't really have the spells to kill things that don't die easily to fire 3.
Yeah, he really needs a main weapon that's not fire 3.
Our tracker Caleb saying Light Axe plus 5. I mean, that's true. Light Axe plus 5 is not a bad weapon. Oh, wow. Those Gasties also had, no HP. What the heck? Anyways. I also did want to give a quick shout out to Math Girl, our restreamer tonight, who's doing a fantastic job making sure these runners are sounding great, we're sounding great, and cropped to perfection. We did find a Peed. Peeds have cremate though, so not exactly what you're looking for.
Not the funnest time. And he got the crown for his troubles?
And a free ribbon. And, ooh!
Oh! Yeah, that paid off.
Interesting. So, coming from a mostly vanilla background, the Xcal, of course, incredibly powerful, and it still is in the randomizer. However, we fixed the crit rate in the randomizer, right? So, in the vanilla game, the randomizer was based off the crit rate was based off the weapon index number, and the Xcal was one of the last weapons added to the game with an index number of 50 or something like that, so its crit rate was insane. It was super, super good. Unfortunately, in the randomizer, or fortunately, that bug is fixed, and the Xcal has its intended crit value, which is only 5%. So that plus 3, pretty good.
Yeah, I'd still say that's pretty good.
Yeah, not the highest crit, but it's gonna mow through everything except for Kraken, Tia, and Chaos. And even against Kraken, Tia, and Chaos, it can do pretty well. So, as Caleb's saying, and as you're kind of referring to it, I think shoombabi's got to be pretty happy to have all that he has at this point.
Yeah, he's really making up for the fact that he only has Fire 3 right now.
Definitely. Oh, and Lightning 2 as well, or Lightning 3 as well, level 4. We should remember that.
Oh yeah, that is kind of important going on.
So Papa gets out of ordeals. So as we kind of run through, like something that we like to ask, newer commentators and anyone else in the community is just like, what kind of drew you into the randomizer? So you said that you originally played a lot of Final Fantasy 1, but what kind of drew you into the randomizer? Was it just that or anything else?
It was just kind of me being fascinated with the whole project and me just liking speedruns in general, along with my love of the whole Final Fantasy series, etc., etc.
Yeah, for sure. And then what was the first seed? What was it like? Was it chaos? Was it terrible? Was it great?
It sure was a seed. I can say. It was wild. I don't remember. One of the first runs I streamed last night, I defeated Garland, I went to King and Sarah, and King gave me the tail, and Sarah gave me the slab.
Yeah, oof. Yucky early game items.
And then I absolutely forgot that I did not need the Earth Orb to talk to the mage at Crescent Lake.
Yep, there's a lot of rites of passage, I think, in learning Final Fantasy Randomizer. One day you'll have that maybe hasn't happened to you yet, but it happens to everyone at some point. Is forgetting to talk to Vicky after you kill him to get the item. Maybe you have enough experience with vanilla, but I know
no. I've actually kind of experienced that once. I just remembered like halfway as I was trying to leave. Oh, I should probably talk.
Ooh, you remembered. That's impressive. My first time it happened, it was atrocious. Okay, so shoombabi finding nastiness in Sea Shrine so far, and also finding no items. So not great. Trance, of course, non-elemental, so the ribbons, of which shoombabi has 2, doing a whole lot of nothing. But high enough level to resist occasionally. Oh goodness.
Red is getting hit with that. Oh, and there goes the red mage. And there goes the black mage.
So now the ribbons are coming into effect, because Crack definitely helpful. Now, these characters incredibly bad at running. They probably should get a run soon, but not pretty. Looks like shoombabi committing to just fighting his way out of it, while Papa in the waterfall to go pick up the item from the robot, which I'm blanking on what exactly it was.
It was the crown.
Yeah. The fetch quest.
And also the extra ribbon and Excalibur.
Yes, much less happy to find the Excalibur, but we'll be very happy to pick up what will be Papa's first ribbon. Okay. Okay, so shoombabi's still deciding that he wants to run full party. Or, like, his full 4-person party.
It's a bit of a curious play. I wonder how it'll pan out in the end.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just... So, weapon breakpoints, the way they work is, in Final Fantasy, weapon swings make a huge difference. So the fighter goes from...
Yeah, definitely.
On the Excal, it's going to go from 4 swings to 5 swings at level... It was an Excal plus 2, right? It will go from 4 swings to 5 swings at level 27, and that's really what I would be aiming for. Oh, Excal 3, okay, so at 26, it will go to 5 swings. So that fighter is really, really wanting to be level 26, and trying to get your whole party to level 26 is going to take a really long time. So shoombabi may want to consider letting one of his characters just die off, so that way he can funnel the EXP onto that fighter a little bit more. We were kind of talking about grinding in our, grinding characters, of course, prior to the seed starting, and that it takes some time and the importance of it, but that if shoombabi does want to do a little bit of a grind, getting that fighter to 26, I think, should be a priority if he's going to go in with the Excal.
Oh yeah, definitely. It might be a bit risky, but I'd also go for dropping both the black mage and the white mage.
Yeah, I'm 100% behind that. I like the fact that he got them some levels. Like, getting up to 16, 17, 18, that's all good. I think levels above 20 are just going to be where it's starting to be not pay off as much. Now, one thing that should be considered, we have yet to find fast. And if shoombabi really wants fast charges, his black mage is going to have to get some levels. So, you know, there is a trade-off to be made there. But I think with the current party setup, you could get away without fast.
Oh yeah, definitely. But if I was running this, I would definitely try to look for it somewhere.
Yeah, definitely checking it out. Yeah, it could just be Red Wizard learnable in Gaia, for example. There's lots of options for where fast can be. shoombabi on Kraken 1, going with the Invis strats. That Katana, or sorry, that Xcal showing that it's got some power. Brat coming out, 26.9% chance of hitting Kraken and one-shotting it. So, you know, Brack strats, good strats, but having the fighter as a backup here, always good. Rock solid. Tracker extraordinaire, not the tracker for this seed, but with his quick eyes while Caleb and I just stared at Nuke, saying that fast was also there. And level 6, that's gettable at level 16, in which case your black mage only probably wants to be about level 19 for 3 charges of fast, and then you're like gold. So shoombabi gonna go to mermaids. Once again, this item almost certainly going to be required. It's either the key, the cube, or the chime. And then the one dud is the white shirt. If it's the white shirt, it won't be needed.
Yeah, that's a pretty heavily big chance of it being incentivized.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And not in the 2 quick chests on the TFC floor. Now, one thing we should start talking about, not that I would ever wish this on our runners, but there is, of course, TFC on this floor, on the floor previous to the one shoombabi currently is on, which is key-locked, which means that there's a possibility that that chest contains the chime or the cube, in which case they will have to come back.
Oh no, and now you've said it. Now you've said it. It is going to be it, isn't it?
He's got... Okay, nope.
Oh, there he goes. He got the slab.
So the slab. So 2 turn-ins to go. We have no information yet, but at this point, these have to lead to at least the chime somewhere. We have to find the chime, because right now we can't even enter Mirage, and that's the only incentive location left. So Papa making his way through. Now, I think if I'm Papa, the one thing that's really on my mind right now is the fact that I am still... have not found a grind I'm happy with. That's definitely a concern.
Yeah, definitely. And if he's not going to get those late game levels, then he is going to suffer when he hits the Temporal Fiends.
Oh yeah, for sure. And also, if you're a black belt and your black belt's not 32, but like is 22, you're way better off with the fighter comp with the Xcal.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay, so shoombabi finding the cube, that guarantees that the chime will be in Mirage. Or sorry, in Lefane. Sorry, the chime will be in Lefane. And because the chime is in Lefane, that means the key must be in Sky. So remember how I said the fighter comp wants everything to be required? Yeah, that's definitely the case here. We are going to need to go in full clear, or clear chests in Mirage Sky until we find that key. So that's definitely good news for shoombabi, because he could just happen to like run into X-Kelp, or sorry, Masa +5 as well, or something like that. And is picking up fast there. Of course, not Red Wizard learnable, but is Black Mage learnable, which is good news for both shoombabi and for Papa. Now this key may be behind the bottle, but is not guaranteed to be behind the bottle. Because it could be that the bottle is in the Canaria locked location, which the key would open up, so we'll have to see. Oh, yeah. Caleb correctly pointing out the bottle could be on the Fane as well. Yes. We don't know how many fetch quests there are, but this will lead to the chime eventually.
Hopefully. We're getting there.
Hopefully.
Who knows?
Rojo saying, you know, we have vanilla everything so far. We have the French vanilla slab, we have the ship vanilla, we have the chime vanilla.
Is it just vanilla because I'm looking at it, or...
Okay, never mind. We got the bottle. But yeah, basically, I think maybe this is the doctor effect. Just everything just gets a little bit more vanilla just to make sure we're on the same page. But no, we got the bottle. So shoombabi gonna go turn that in. Now, I really must say, I hope Papa checks the desert grinds when he finishes up with C. I think it just has to be the play that he wants to make here.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't imagine wanting to do anything else in his current position.
Maybe checking the earth grinds first. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen them yet, unless Papa went there when I wasn't looking. But those would be the things that are kind of on my mind. So shoombabi knows this is going to turn into the chime.
Also, thank you, Dungwoo. Or
Dangwoo,
I don't know how to say it.
Dangwoo, yeah. Dangwoo, longtime member. Oh, never mind. I lied.
Oh, there's the key.
Okay, so that means the white shirt's in Sky, which actually is not ideal for shoombabi because it means he basically can't open those chests without having a time loss. So we'll have to see if he decides to do it. I would anticipate, based off the current gear situation, that he chooses not to open up the chest, just because A, you're facing a black belt comp, and B, you have the XCal plus 3 and 2 ribbons. I feel like you just gotta go. But we'll see what he decides to do. Papa opening some greed boxes here, even after finding the XCal, a little bit surprised.
Oh, there's the chime.
Yeah, nice pickup. I'm gonna want that Aegis shield.
We finally, Shoom finally getting the Aegis shield.
Best in slot shield, always nice to pick up. Now, one of the only items in the game that grants resistance to the poison element. And yep, he's just going. Boxes are for chumps. I like it. I like this play.
He's just zooming through there. Although I don't blame him.
Papa on to his first fiend, taking on the Kraken. We shall see what the strategy is. It looks like some invis coming out. Brax are the way to go here. 26.9% chance once again. Hold, not going to do too much. Brack comes out, first turn, easy game. Kraken goes down and Papa has lit his first orb.
Incredible.
Yeah, Fire 3, a decent choice here against this triple Wizmummy pack. Now, of course, the Paralysts, the Fiery Birds, not going to do too well with the Fire 3, but the Thorhammer, the mixed strat, will hopefully be able to take care of this whole party. And yeah, those Paralysts have no HP. Nice use. Well, shoombabi's been doing...
It doesn't look like it was a problem for him.
No, not at all. And shoombabi's been doing a really good job of using item magic, I think, throughout the seed. Yeah. My goodness, this party can't run.
And now Shoom has the zoomies, but in space.
Is he going? Okay, he checks the 4 greed boxes. Is there a Masa here? No, nothing.
No.
So Shuma at the 48-minute mark, basically just ready to go demolish the rest of the seed. He's got the fastest dungeon in the game. Fire, the volcano left, and then he's got Earth, which will take some time, but that's going to be pretty even for both runners. The question I have is, how many more levels does he want? Because he has to want a few more levels, right?
Surely he does. Surely he's not going to just go through just lacking so many levels.
It's doable. He's got some casts of fast, he's got the power gauntlet, he's got a good sword, he's got 2 ribbons. It's just a little dangerous.
It is. It's a really risky play. He can do it, but I don't think it's recommended.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It depends on if he feels ahead or behind at this point. I wonder if he decides to check the desert once he's done with... Ooh, oh, this is scary.
Oh, fun, fun.
He's going for it, though. Now, this will solve some level problems. It also could solve his skydive, because it could end right here if Warmech has something nasty. Starting with a punch, not a big punch.
It could solve some problems, but also it could cause a lot of problems, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Elemental spells, not great to go with for the, as Warmech resists all those elements. However, this X-Cal doing some serious work. Needs that fighter to stay up. Oh! Doesn't get punched. Critical punch onto the red mage. And down goes Warmech. This is a super good EXP distribution, I think, for him. Yeah,
it's working out for him.
That helps the level problem by a lot. Tempting fate a little bit there, though. Warmech, part of the Fiend refight skill and spell list. A nuke or a nuclear there could have been, like, just wiped him out of Sky. Now, I guess the one good thing is that shoombabi didn't open any boxes in Sky, really, so it wouldn't have been, like, a huge time loss, but still would have been pretty bad. Ooh, this X-Cal putting in some serious work. Papa about to go on his fetch quest-a-thon. Slab to bottle to key to chime. And Wolfenjoff making a good point in chat. No nuclear that we saw means more potential for those scripts and spells to be on the Fiend refights, like somewhere scary like Tia or Chaos.
That's going to be scary.
And yep, proximity routing right into the volcano. This play makes lots of sense.
Yep.
shoombabi on pace for a sub-hour Topher entry. Papa picking up temper.
As you should.
And unfortunately for him, Fade is White Wizard locked. Ninja asking a question, why is everyone always walking on lava? An excellent question. The reason is because the time it takes to heal is less than the time it takes to take fights. And when you're walking on lava, it doesn't increase the encounter table. Therefore, there's no possibility of you triggering a fight on those lava tiles.
So in short, it's faster.
TLDR, we gotta save the fight frames. And that is true of non-randomized. Yes, that's actually applied for all the versions of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it is.
course, in vanilla, especially like thinking back to very young me, I did not want to take any damage. I was terrified. My screen was flashing. You know, it sounded like a bad call. But when you're trying to go fast, as few encounters as possible is where you want to be. And here we go, carry. Ooh, big fade roll. Max roll of fade, 320. Big X-Cal swing.
Oh, that is a fantastic carry fight.
Okay, and Lich is all that remains. Now, this isn't quite looking like a sub-hour seed, but this is definitely looking at a sub-hour Temple of Fiends Revisited entry. And Papa deciding to proximity route Volcano, this makes total sense. No real benefit to doing Sky before Volcano. He was in this continent anyway, so gonna go clear out Volcano. I guess the only benefit is that he could have some additional levels, which could help things run, be a little bit safer, but not the end of the world.
And also, Dongwu, it did take forever, but it took slightly less forever if you had an auto-fire button.
Or, as I always say, a younger sibling. So shoombabi did purposely take the top path, which is slightly slower, but he took it on. It's faster if you're going to open those boxes, and he did want to open those boxes. So the big pickups here would be a Vorpal, a Masa, or a defense sword. Those would be the three really big pickups here. Rojo saying the rune sword +0 crit machine. I think that wasn't that what Bert took in at like level 19 with his fighter? Wasn't it like a rune sword +4? Oh, okay. Papa's back on these R Hydras. Is this the grind? Way back, Rock Solid said that the R Hydra is the best grind that we found so far. But this grind
may be it.
Oh, this grind's terrible. It's not terrible, but it's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, it is kind of bad, but was it better than Pop?
Oh, it's 100% better than Pop, but it's like I really wish Papa would check the desert here. I think that's going to be the vastly superior way for his black belt to get levels if he can even find sandworms, stake and wings, which is the Tyro Wyvern fight, or the T-Rex would all be much better ways to get EXP for Papa. Or once he picks up the key, he could also check Northwest Castle and see if he can find a better B-side spike tile, because these R Hydras, he just doesn't. Solo black belt, it's a 4-round fight every single time, which is very slow. So now, you know, we never should discount the black belt advantage. I don't know. Were you a black belt player or a fighter player, or were you a thief player? Lo and behold, in the vanilla games.
In the vanilla games, I always did fighter with 2 red mages and a white.
Fair enough. Okay, so yeah, fighters, you know, with the sword's always strong, but you know, we can't discount the black belt advantage if, you know, Papa gets that.
Oh yeah, we absolutely can't. They can pack a punch when they need to.
Yeah, and you know, Topher's very difficult, but if Topher's not hard, shoombabi in the vastly superior position right now. 4 orbs lit and levels done. Yeah. But okay, shoombabi looks like he's gonna go check the Northwest Castle spikes quickly. I think he is slightly concerned about levels.
That's fair enough.
That's not where you're gonna get them. Okay, Papa done with the R Hydra grind. So that was just a little mini grind, in which case I'm much happier with that play. Like, if it's just like, I want to get a few levels, sure. If he was gonna sit there and do his entire grind on it, that would be less ideal. But we are not happy with what we found in Northwest Castle, to the point of resetting out of it, which I think is the correct play. Toph locked? Nice play to remember to pick up block 2. Really deliberate play here by shoombabi. It's a good play. His people are full, but...
And getting the gold +2.
Oh yeah. If you're gonna dive a little bit lower level, making sure you got the right gear in place, gonna help quite a bit. But remember, this is a fighter with a ribbon, a power bonk, life, and an XL +3. This is a super, super powerful fighter. Also, you know, people bring a Masa into Topher all the time, but the XL +3 has the same crit rate as the Masa, so XL +3 is a very, very good sword.
Yeah, definitely. I can see the point of him just not even bothering to go look for the Masa and just sticking with what he has, which is the XL time +3.
If things go wrong, I feel like the play is to get levels rather than go gear searching. So maybe, you know, going to the desert or checking Toflocked or something like that. But here we go, shoombabi on his first dive. He almost made me a liar, but into Topher just before the hour mark. Meanwhile, Papa picking up his chime. But remember, Papa does have 2 orbs lit as well. So it's Sky and Earth for Papa. So those dungeons, if he clears no boxes, definitely within a Temple of Fiends Revisited wipe from shoombabi.
Absolutely.
So taking some time, taking some fights on the way up. Now, generally speaking, I don't love taking fights in the Temple of Fiends Revisited, but I think here it's not the worst play. Now, the upside of this is that he's not using any spells while he's doing so, and he's inching his party up in levels, which is always a good thing. The downside is that if he wipes in the Temple of Fiends Revisited, it's going to make the time loss immense. Because instead of having those level saves, he's either going to have to go faster and not get them, or he's going to have to get those levels somewhere else, and that's just really, really bad. So, but shoombabi 2 floors away from the Earth floor. Meanwhile, Papa in Earth. Will we see dueling Lich battles? I think shoombabi will hit Lich just before Papa. I never knew this until I was on this floor and they were unrunnable, but Earths are weak to fire, which never really made sense to me, but...
I mean, like, it makes sense if you consider of igneous rocks, like how rocks melt in magma, etc.
Good point.
Yeah.
Rock balls, though, not weak to fire. That's a good point, though. That's a good way to... I think that's a good way to remember it. I think someone else told me the way that you remember is that just everything else in Earth Cave is weak to fire, so Earths might as well be. But while we're saying this, Earths have glare, and not only do they have glare, they really like to hit the people without ribbons, so shoombabi having to use some early life charges. Not that it's the worst, but a little bit annoying.
It's okay, they're just like judging the no ribbon users for their lack of ribbons.
Correct. And here we go. Lich, harm 4, heal 3. And Xcal doing very nice Xcal things. So yeah, Wolf and Josh saying Lich has good absorb, and yeah, that's definitely. I mean, it had okay absorb, but that is the concern for the later Fiend refights. Is high absorb will be slightly problematic for the X-Cal when it can't prey on the weaknesses of Chaos. So that's really what we're looking out for. But these first few Fiends, this X-Cal is going to be doing a ton of damage.
Shoom's fighter is pretty much going to be a caveman with a stick for the first few Fiends.
Deciding to use a Fade Charge here. I was curious to see if Shoom was going to decide to save that for Kraken, but looks like carry the bigger party. But boom! Big swig with fast on that X-Cal. Good turn order there. Yeah, Papa found Chimeras as a grind, but decided that we don't want it, so Papa continuing on. I wonder if he feels behind at this point. And he just is feeling I'm going to go in a little bit faster. But shoombabi onto Kraken. This is where it gets scary. Gonna put the fighter in slot 2 as the primary damage dealer. I don't mind this. The fighter has pretty good absorb at this point. Fairly defensive. Fast going off. Now the key thing with fast is that he timed it so he has just the right amount of fast charges, unless one of the bosses has slow too. So I like that thought process here. Okay. Good evasion stacking. X-Cal doing good X-Cal things. X-Cal is a good sword.
It really is in this run.
I must say, I feel like X-Cal always rolls back down for me, so maybe I've been having some... I hate like an X-Cal -2, it just never crits. But X-Cal +3 turns out is a lot better than X-Cal -2. And same setup here for Tiamat. Ooh, a miss menu. That's a costly miss menu too. Because he does not have enough fast charges to cast another fast on this fighter, so this is going to have to rely on the X-Cal without any fast buffs, and that is less impressive, 200 damage. But if Tia doesn't do anything, could be okay. Papa entering the Temple of Fiends Revisited here, but checking the grind, yeah, I was gonna say. Not happy with that, and we're leaving. Yeah, I like the adjustment to go for the power bonk here. This is still very scary though. shoombabi giving Tiamat extra turns to come out with scary skills or spells, but luckily for him, Tiamat's been doing nothing but casting garbage. Yeah, looks like Papa finally checking the desert, but unfortunately for him, it may be a little bit too late. shoombabi going with Brack strats, not as effective as it is on the earlier Tiamat, but, you know, still has a possibility of working. There's the scary spell. Nuke coming out. shoombabi's shaking his head because he knows that happened because he cast fast too late. Or he cast fast on the wrong character, but thank goodness. Turns out, fighters with life are pretty strong.
Who knew? But yeah, I was worried about the exact same thing, because I wouldn't want to stay around to see some of Tiamat's scarier spells.
And here we go, on to Chaos. What shoombabi is looking for here is he needs a few turns of getting a lock and a fast off. If he can get a lock and a fast off, we're looking peachy here. If we don't, it's getting a little bit sketchier. So look for the turn order. Power bonk goes off. Quad X, perfect. That's what those pro rings protect against, and the ribbons. I like the use of Ruse in the front to try and absorb some hits on that red wizard who's not doing anything else. Meanwhile, Papa climbing up Mirage. Lock, yep. Yeah, Classic Gamer also pointing out, gotta hope that Chaos doesn't have slow too. That would be disastrous, as we have very, very limited charges of Nuke and Fade remaining. However, we could just go with the item magic route if the rest of the party can stay up. It'd be slow, but it would still win eventually.
You would eventually get there, but it would take a long while. Who knows if he can stay up for that long.
So he got off everything I was talking about. 2 critical casts of block, fast cast. This Xcal swing is going to be huge. Or not. 3 hits, 119 damage. Xcal doing Xcal things on Chaos.
Nice.
More bonks required. Or more locks. 3 hits, 333. I just needed to jinx it to make sure that my previous statement that Xcal does nothing on Chaos still applied, which is what is occurring here after, like, near perfect setup. But, once again, he still has 4 party members up. Everyone's at basically max HP. Like...
Should be fine at this point.
Oh, I was trying so hard not to say that, Doctor.
Oh, no! It's okay, trust me, I'm a doctor.
We'll go with is probably, hopefully should be fine. Just needs a few more turns to get some power bonks off and a couple swings. 1 or 2 big turns of crits, and this Chaos will just go down. But keeping the whole party up, definitely good to have heal 3 available. 1 more turn of power bonk, I like it. I think at this point, this next fighter swing should do about 700 damage. So I'm optimistic here. 848, excellent.
Not bad at all.
1 or 2 more swings here. Swing comes out, 548. Looking good. Chaos still doing nothing, so far the only really scary thing was that nuke on the Tia. I really like the usage of heal 3s. Yes, it's a little bit slower, but it's really keeping shoombabi's party as safe as possible. And I think that's important when the fight didn't start off nearly as well as you wanted it to. And there we go.
And there we go. There's Chaos.
shoombabi with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 42 seconds is our winner. Meanwhile, it looks like Papa has forfeit, so I think that's pretty much it for our race here. We will see if they want to join us for some interviews. Looks like shoombabi will be joining us. Papa, unknown at this point. We'll see. We'll see if he doesn't decide to join us, though. I do want to kind of convey his thoughts that he's saying in the race room as well. shoombabi in chat, pointing out Thundercloud's Cloud's love of Papa John's stuffed crust pizza. His referral link will be posted. There's no referral link, but you could make a lot of money off that. shoombabi, you're in there. Can you get into broadcast booth waiting room, please? And we are joined by shoombabi.
How's it going?
Good. I mean, how's it going for you? You must be feeling pretty good about that after that pretty clean race, all things considered.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still bonking my head over that.
Fast?
No, well, yeah, that too, definitely. that was so sad. But the floater, I miscalculated how much a light axe was going to actually be worth, and then I had to do that little extra 2-minute grind. I thought I was big brain and volcano for some early money, and yeah, it obviously didn't cost me the race, but it's something that I would have liked to optimize out a little bit, hopefully before my next one.
Yeah, I think the volcano play was definitely the play. I think I would have sold the opal armor instead of going to pop. But I can see the
Definitely same here.
I can see the argument for keeping it. So
I had considered it, but I figured I was going to promote really quickly anyway with that floater. So
yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I see.
And you were wearing it for the entire seed too, so like, you know, you got good usage out of that opal armor. It wasn't just like you had it and it just sat. You didn't sell it, but then you used it, and it was your endgame armor. So, you know, when you consider that, that's pretty good. I think the only reason I would consider is because like a steel armor +1 or something is comparable enough that it would probably be fine.
You know, at that point, I don't think I had multiple ribbons, and so the lightning defense was still valuable to me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You had 0 ribbons at that point, so definitely a good consideration. So yeah, Doctor, do you have any questions for shoombabi?
No, not really. It was a fascinating play to watch, at least.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the fast play and then just like how to get floater money, which, I mean, tripped you up a little bit, but I think tripped up your opponent even more. It looked pretty clean. I guess the only question I did have for you was just, you dove Marsh a little bit earlier than I was expecting you to. Were you just gambling there, or did you just really want some levels or something? Like, what was the consideration when you went into Marsh?
I knew that it had to be in either Marsh or Ice for progression, or at least one of them could have been a not Ruby.
Right.
And so, yeah, I chose Marsh because I felt like I was going to be near Ordeals anyway, and I wasn't comfortable enough going into Ordeals with the levels. So if I hung out on that side of the map, then and I found something useful, great. And if I don't find something useful, I don't know, it's not too much. So yeah, it worked out even though it was a canal, because it was I believe it was the 4th chest I checked.
Yeah, when it's on the top floor like that, the time loss is so negligible. It's almost as fast as like checking sages. Sages take a long time to walk to, man.
Yeah. Not a fan.
So you also kind of went against the meta a little bit, though fighters seem to be making a bit of a comeback with that fighter comp. What was your kind of thought process with that?
I did a lot of practice on black belt grinds, and it was just so swingy to me. Either you found one that was really good, or you didn't, and then you spend half the seed looking for one. And I don't know, I kind of like the comfort of having multiple casters in each pool, just to either swing towards a safety comp if the white magic rolls up higher, or rather lower, or if I get some decent black magic that I can just burn things down. But neither one of them really too impressive on this seed.
For sure. I guess that leads to my last question, which was, we were discussing a little bit about considerations on like the Excal's weapon breakpoint. Was there any consideration about going down to like a smaller party comp at any point? Like a couple of your characters died off at various points, and I was curious if you were going to bring them all back up, or like what your kind of plan was in terms of EXP distribution. So the 4-person like played great for you, but was that kind of the plan all along? Was that the plan from the end game? Was that the plan based off where the magic rolled?
Honestly, it was that I anticipated Papa taking a very different party here. I thought he was going with his 2-person party, as he has been. And so my consideration was, I need people that can run out of battles, because I need to see things quicker than he does. And if anything rolls nasty, at least I have some life casters to get me back up. And when the Warmech took one of my guys out, I was like, great, this is getting some levels on me. I hesitated for a moment. I don't know if anybody caught it before I actually went into Topher, because I was like, do I check this grind tile and risk the commentators like calling me out for looking at more chests? Because what I really wanted was another level or two.
Yeah, no, we kind of...
No, that was completely understandable.
Yeah, and we knew that you were looking for levels over chests. Like, when you just dive through Sky and Earth and Volcano with checking nothing, it's pretty clear that you're happy with your gear, which, to be fair, you definitely should have been.
I was really hoping for a defense sword somewhere in a couple of the greed chests, but can't win all of them.
We're always looking for a defense sword or a ribbon or whatever you don't have yet, right?
Right.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you kind of want to share with us before we get into final thoughts? I don't think Papa's going to be joining us for an interview based off him not responding.
No, not really. I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with that time. For an early floater, I'd probably like to shave off 5 minutes or so. But on the whole, it's about where I've been practicing, and so going into my next one with a little bit more confidence, I think.
Good to execute kind of as expected, I guess, which is awesome. Yeah, I mean, you punch your ticket into the play-in race at the very least, and one more win and you'll be in brackets. So an exciting matchup coming for you. Is it tomorrow? I think I'm doing
Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. I think I'm doing comps for that as well. Cool. So yeah, with that, let's move into final thoughts. I mean, you kind of just gave it, but do you have any kind of final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, that was really it. Just looking forward to my last race. Thank you both for commentating on this, and thanks to all the viewers for watching. Always fun to play for people and with them. Gives us something to talk about.
Awesome. Yeah, for me, final thoughts. I just want to thank Caleb for tracking tonight. I want to thank MathGirl for restreaming. I want to thank my fantastic first-time co-coms, Dr. Rosalia, who did a great job, and I'm excited to hear them on the mic in the future. And with that, I will pass it over to Dr. Rosalia to close out the show with any final thoughts they have.
That was a pretty solid run in my opinion, or at least I think so. It was great being able to co-comment for the first time. And again, thanks to Caleb for tracking and Math Girl for restreaming.
Awesome, and with that will take us out of Randomania, so thanks again to Randomania for having us, and I hope to see you all in our next Spring Tournament matchup. We got lots of games coming up. Please feel free to join our Discord, follow our restreamer, our tracker, everyone else involved, and with that, have a fantastic evening. Good night, everyone.